Something's wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Make more nice than nothing. We pop off from pussy. When them a watch Steve Urkel, me in a me house I watch Chucky. Dark and dirty. Travel with the 9-ox pussy. When you hear cop a shot and no cut it, kill off every puppy. A fuck ground bad man, come from London and turn in a dog. The whole place full of killer. When we turn up at the villa with a couple of gorilla with a pill of fish and million. Spend about 25 million and even when you kill a bow machine in a
Welcome to the channel, Mac Dr. Bill. I want to start by saying I thanks and appreciate every single one of you who has subscribed, like, and comment. I thank you for your support. All right, boys, we continue the work on the EK. I'm gonna show you guys some of the progress that I've done off camera and what we're working on today and what we have left. So, taking advantage of the weather, so why not? Stay tuned. All right, boys, this is how we're looking like since the last time we talked. This is something that I did, being that I have a built-in wastegate. When you got a built-in wastegate, you don't need this port right here, so it gets literally blacked off. I custom built that with some aluminum plating that I had. Not too bad. I was gonna order it online. It would have taken like a month, so I simply just took the shape, drew my holes first. I cut it with an angle grinder, shaped it up, and not too bad. That's blacked off. Not to worry, you're gonna get anything or no leaks or anything. I do planning on getting a gasket for here, but the black off plate is completed. I know the fabricated part feel good when you custom build stuff, right? So what I have to do today is I'm gonna run a line from the bottom of the boost controller. We got the one to the wastegate divider here. Again, it's a built-in wastegate, so this is the way to do it. Also, I have a T already from the back of my intake. This is where my boost gauge is gonna get hooked up, which this is the vacuum line that I need, but it's about 3 feet. I'm gonna go to the hardware store real quick. I need about 5 feet to run it all the way through, no problem. Also, I got this black one here, pause, that I could use in the future in case I wanna change the vacuum line position for the bottom of the turbo boost controller. Alright, boys, I end up grabbing about 5 feet. That should be long enough. I got a couple more clamps for the vacuum lines. That's pretty much it. So, see you back at the crib. One more thing I forgot to mention the last time I said I was gonna do. These are manifold studs. Yeah, you could get these at a hardware store, at the Ace local hardware, and they are the one for Honda. I don't replace them in the car. This is a spare one that I got because I needed extra lug nuts. But yeah, we got all new studs on the head for the manifold. That way we could have the turbo and everything tied up. The last thing you want to do is have everything loose, you know. So But I think I mentioned this, that you could get these studs at your local Ace. I ordered some online and eBay, and they were the wrong size. I'll show you guys, they were too huge, pause, but something so simple as Ace hardware, we could get it over here. So I'll show you guys what they look like once installed. Let's get it. Alright, took the bumper off so I could show you more like what we have to do. Things is done. I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that I done. Alright, check. Like I showed you the delete plate, I done fabricated myself. I had spare aluminum, it's pretty thick. They do have aluminum delete plates in it. I just didn't feel like waiting for it, so I traced it, same shape, made it, drilled the hole. We got that new bolts. Place. Speaking of bolts, I got everything tied up on the manifold. I got new hardware. The 4 bottoms are brand new. Don't replace them. New studs, new studs, new stud, new stud, new stud. All brand new lock nuts. Brand new lock nut here. Over here in these corners, there were the shorter ones, but it's pretty tight up. I'm not going anywhere. Center, everything is tied up in place. A lot better than before. They had like 2 or 3 of them. So I wanted to show you the drip. They got new hardware. There was no necessity in changing the tops. If I would have made them longer, like in the bottom I got standard so I could meet the head, the manifold itself. But in the top I couldn't put them standard because then it'll be a hard time for me to put the lock nuts in place and tie them up. So I had to have the shorter ones, which that's perfect. Moving on. Yeah. Got this line over here hooked up off of a T, the back of the intake. I'm gonna attempt to run that in the back of the firewall inside the car, so we could run that at the back of the boost gauge. That's pretty much that for that. I'm thinking of running a second line and just add it on to the turbo side. Or I just wait and get my fitting. Like I see most people, they put a fitting here for the turbo one and just run up the pipe, which you could put it on the hose. Simple, just running a vacuum. But that's situated. Next thing I want to do is see if I could get the radiator real quick out. If you angle this up, you exactly see what's hidden, what we could cut out of there and what we don't need. So I'm gonna do exactly that. Cut out a section out of the plastic cover, because you guys see, if I cut that, I could move it back a little bit, not touching. It wouldn't touch the radiator at all. Wouldn't have to worry about anything. So I'm gonna do that real quick and show you how I trimmed that, the accommodate for the hooded saws. Tie it up one more time in place and that should be done. Alright, check. I'm gonna show you guys real quick my vacuum turbo situation orientation. So this line of the wastegate and the bottom of the turbo is connected. I put a T. We're gonna put this line over here at the bottom of the wastegate. From over here, there's one fitting coming out. I'm putting another hose, and I'm gonna show you guys how to put a vacuum here. That way you don't gotta run that many T's and that many crazy stuff. Everything will be run off over here. This T over here with this vacuum line is what's gonna go in the boost gauge. But to set my turbo situation with the boost gauge, again, I'm gonna splice it real quick, put it in here in place so we see it. Alright, boys. So this is set over here. The T is coming out from the direction, coming out from the wastegate, pointing to the wastegate / bottom of the turbo. Now from the bottom of the turbo direction in the boost controller, I got this hose over here, and I'm gonna show you guys a fitting that I'm gonna put here, how to do it. That I'm gonna set up pretty much all my vacuum lines there. Get rid of most of the T's. Everything will be nice and cleaner. That's the proper direction. I look for many videos showing how to do the vacuum line with a turbo, but when it comes with an internal wastegate, everybody do it different. So this was the most accurate way. Of course, we got the boost gauge right there, so it's not all over the place, a lot cleaner as far as vacuum lines or whatever. Now this line, like I said, we're gonna go someplace around here. I'm gonna show you the fitting that I'm gonna put here and how we're gonna do it. That's gonna conclude with that. And then from the back of my intake, I got this line already over here that's going for the boost gauge, and that's gonna set off my boost gauge situation. Put it up, boys. That's pretty much all set up. All right, boys, I took off the piping of the bottom of the turbo because our fitting is gonna go there. I don't want to get any shaving, plus we gotta drill it. All right, check it. Normally, to get a fitting or something to put in a pipe of some sort, I have to order this like in China. I couldn't find it anywhere else. Ace Hardware, I'll show you. Well, $1.29. It's got tread, I got a rubber grommet, a regular washer. The idea is to drill a hole. This is gonna go like that also. We're gonna secure in place. That way, once this is on, we could put a vacuum now to the bottom of the turbo, because you gotta have, in order to put the boost controller to work, cut my hand, sorry about the blood. You're gonna have a vacuum line coming off the wastegate to the T, which is joined on the bottom of the turbo and wastegate. Now you have a secondary line that's coming from the bottom of the boost controller going to the piping. So that's what we're doing over here. I'm gonna drill this hole real quick and show you guys how we're gonna start it. Let's get it. All right, boys. So after you do your hole, put your rubber grommet, pass it through the pipe. I got this lug nut with the washer that I'm gonna put so it won't come off. That's gonna secure it. Now we got a source for a vacuum that's gonna run to the bottom of the boost controller. That was my last hose that I needed to finish it. So I just wanted to show you that detail. Normally this piece you have to order from like China, something similar. It take about a month or whatever. So I was able to get this of Ace. If anybody's figuring and want to do the same, Ace Hardware for the win. $1.29, boys. So I'm gonna adjust this and we're gonna put it on the vehicle. All right, boys, that's how it look like. Once tied up and in place, now you got yourself a vacuum source for your alternative on the turbo vacuum lines. Let's get it. Alright, that's already in place. I gotta tighten my B-bands, and now you guys see this last line is gonna go simply. Alright, boys, this is the fitting location now. That's the last vacuum line. So you want to measure it, make sure it's not too short, not too long. Pause. We're gonna cut about 1.5 inches. This is so much cleaner, boys. Like, this is super clean. Best way to route your vacuum line to the turbo from the controller, from the boost controller. Just like that. Show you guys what we're looking like. Alright, boys, check it out. This came out so clean. We got the boost controller coming off the wastegate, directing from the wastegate to the wastegate latch bottom of the turbo and to a T over here. You guys see, nice and clean. From the bottom of the boost controller of the turbo outlet part, we got it on the piping. You are allowed to do it on the coupling, as long as it's on the bottom of the turbo, it'll work. So that fitting, nice and clean. You can barely see lines. Like everything is right over there. There you go. It's a better view. So we got our boost controller right here, nice and lined up. We got the T hooked up into the wastegate part. We got the second line hooked up to the bottom of the boost controller into the fitting onto the intercooler piping. That's the way to go on that. So that's it. The only vacuum line that I have to put on tomorrow, because it's getting a little darker. It took me a little bit going to the store trying to figure out how we're gonna do the fitting. I'm getting the hoses, you know, and stuff like that. So that's already taken care of. Of course, taking and assembling back the intercooler piping took a little bit. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow, I'm gonna pick this up, and now the last vacuum line is coming off of the T of the back of the intake, and this one is gonna go inside the firewall for our boost gauge, and that's it. Everything is set up. We got the blow-off valve lines correctly already hooked up to the fuel regulator. Then we got a T from the bottom of the turbo housing with a T split right to the wastegate, so that's already set off. And we got from the bottom of the boost controller to the intercooler piping. So that's pretty set. So we're gonna grab this up tomorrow, finish that last line for the boost gauge, and that should be it. Like I said, it got a little dark, but I made sure doing a lot of things off camera. Like we got all new hardware. We got all the new studs for the head manifold. So that was very important. What I wanted to do also, I don't know if I'll be able today, is to trim the fan so that we can move it back. But overall, the mission today was to get the vacuum lines correctly, and all them vacuum lines are correct. The boost gauge doesn't interfere, because again, we have a T here already hooked up to the back of the intake. This is about 5 foot. It's gonna run inside to the firewall to the back of the boost gauge to make it function. But everything is connected. Everything is should like it is. Everything is working like it should, like it is. We got our delete plate, custom made. That's already tied up. So things is looking promising. So for tonight, I want to throw in the bumper, and I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow in the next one. What we do tomorrow, I'll probably do the sandwich plate install with the top feet line for the turbo to get that out of the way until we could get the oil pan. We'll do that separate with the drain line. But we're gonna cut it short here due to the snow. No sense. You know, I'd rather just come back tomorrow, put some more work, keep you guys up to date. But yeah, all the vacuum lines are done correctly. Everything is tied up as it should. We got our down pipe already in place. Everything's looking money. So we're gonna wrap things up here, boys. I'm gonna thanks and I appreciate every single one of you that have subscribed, like, and comment. I thank you for your support, for staying tuned. Like always, till next time, peace.